Happy Halloween. It's Thursday, October 31st, 2024. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Converse County Tourism. Douglas and Glen Rock, Wyoming are bustling with action this holiday season. Plan your excursion, including fun activities, beautiful downtowns, and historic treasures. Learn more at conversecountytourism.com. Well, happy Halloween, everybody. It's going to be an okay Halloween. We're going to have some chilly temperatures. There'll be some breezy areas. And for far western Wyoming, eastern Idaho, the Pacific Northwest, there's going to be a little bit of snow shower activity with the next Pacific wave. So that's one part of the world in our neck of the woods that will have a little bit of weather today and tonight. Generally dry, cool, breezy elsewhere. Now we're going to continue to see Pacific waves move across the North Pacific through the Gulf of Alaska, then into the western United States. This will be continuing through the weekend with another wave coming in Saturday and Sunday, then another one coming in late Monday and Tuesday of next week. So the door to the Pacific is open. Systems are going to be coming, but the confidence in the details are really low. It looks like there's plenty of weather coming, but they may become, let's say, disorganized systems or systems that can't all be put together into one cohesive storm system. This type of pattern lends itself to frequent periods of snow in the mountains, but kind of spotty, sporadic precipitation across the lower elevations. At least I think that's how the weekend will go into early next week. Now, mid to late next week, we'll see if one of these systems will try to get better organized. Bottom line is, pattern is certainly going to be colder, and the pattern is certainly going to be more what I like to call unsettled as we head into the first full week of November. We'll show you some precipitation totals here in a minute. With the Black Hills of South Dakota and Wyoming really saw some great precipitation due to that storm system that is now heading on out and moving out into the region. This cloudiness you see right here, the edge of it, this is the next Pacific wave coming in. Not a terribly strong one, but this is going to make the Pacific Northwest cold and wet. And the leading edge of that moisture is just going to get into this part of western Wyoming and the Wasatch Front of Utah as the day progresses, while there's a little bit of a gap of high pressure, a little sliver of high pressure in between systems right there. When we look at the precipitation totals through tomorrow morning, now this does not include some precipitation that fell in this area yesterday and overnight. So that doesn't include yesterday, during the day, and overnight. But you can see that swath that we had been talking about coming across the region, depositing some very good moisture in some areas that really, really needed it as it came on through. So those areas that looked like we're going to get the heavier moisture certainly did. Maybe not so much this area here. I think we had a little bit of a mountain shadow from that area getting the heavier moisture. But the path came through, and what is really good about what happened, although I know some of you probably not happy with the amount of snow you got, is that the track of that moisture went right over this right here. It went right over the worst drought areas of the region. Not everybody got it. I know there's always winners and losers, but that did go bullseye. That was a bullseye right across where it was needed the most, as you could see there. So hopefully more's coming. Now, when we take a look at the pattern today, this is where we're going to be by noon today. Moisture and energy gets pushed out ahead of this low in the Pacific Northwest. That's what's going to drive moisture into the area. This little wave right through is actually this little wave right here comes on through very quickly. By tomorrow noon, it's off to the east. So this is going to cause the wind to pick up later today, tonight, and Friday along the I-80 corridor across parts of Wyoming. There'll be a bit of a pickup in wind. This will just drive moisture right off the water, right into the Pacific Northwest. And there it is. This is the precipitation forecast through tomorrow morning. So this is nothing to write home about. But you can see western Wyoming's valleys, eastern Idaho valleys, you're going to get some snow showers. You're going to see a little bit of snow shower activity, maybe get all the way out along parts of Interstate 80. So there's going to be a little bit of moisture with this wave. Then as we get into the weekend, some of that Pacific activity begins to slide into the Great Basin. But it gets stretched. So we're going to get a kind of a disconnect between the northern part of the trough and the southern part of the trough. There are our highs standing guard on the southeast parts of the U.S. and off the eastern Pacific. So on Sunday, This is going to push a frontal system into the region. So there is going to be weather here. There's going to be some rain and snow activity along this front. It's just not going to be an organized storm system. But as we get into late Saturday, Saturday night, Sunday, into Monday, cool, unsettled weather will envelope the west with areas of rain and snow showers and colder temperature readings. This is by Monday. So this is by Sunday morning. This is by Monday morning. Again, it gets stretched out a little bit. So that kind of decreases the ability for this low to become terribly organized or strong. But notice we've got another wave in coming right behind it because the highs are still there. So unsettled, this is where the word unsettled comes from. We've got systems coming through, but not terribly organized ones. So you'll get a little separation in terms of where the heavier moisture will be. This is by Tuesday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So you can see there's lots of L's in there. There's a trough coming in. Winds aloft are in from the northwest. There's a broad trough over the western United States. So you're going to get a precipitation pattern like this, where it's kind of hodgepodge. You're going to have pockets of moisture here and there, but not a concentration of deeper moisture like you see out here further east, where Gulf of Mexico moisture is going to really funnel in some significant moisture into the central U.S. The weather in the west through Wednesday here, there's going to be precipitation. There's going to be rain and snow, just not widespread or concentrated. Although I think this area right here, eastern Colorado in particular, as we get into late Sunday and Monday, you need to kind of watch that maybe that low, this low right here, might produce a little bit more in the way of upslope. Something that we'll need to keep an eye on for, let's say, late Sunday into Monday. Then as we look at the temperature pattern, well, it's going to be cold. That colder air just funnels in out of Canada into the western United States from the Great Basin through the Rockies and just to the western edge of the western high plains. You can see the northern plains and areas east aren't going to really get into the cold air yet. But through the early to middle parts of next week, unsettled is the key word. And we see more systems coming, maybe another one around that Friday, Saturday time frame of next week. This is what the snowfall looks like in the period. This is the period from Sunday through Election Day Tuesday. So there's going to be some weather. Mountain passes, the higher elevations, your higher elevation roadways will probably be most impacted. Have yourself a good and safe Halloween. We'll see you tomorrow.